Hey there and welcome back. Today it's time for another restoration blog. These are videos where I show you what's going on with all the cars and show you things that you might not see in another video. I don't know where to start this week. We have a blizzard coming in right now, but I was able to get the Scram out a couple times already this year. We did have some 60-70 degree weather for a couple days. The Porsche 944 rally car is looking better than ever. I do have some new seats in it now. I was able to find a car that had the wrong set of seats in it, and so these were available. These were exactly the same seats that were in this car, but these are in very good shape. So got those thrown in. The interior of the 944 is looking very good now. Since the transformation on this car is coming out so well, I am excited to do some more things to it. A couple weeks ago, I took the Overland Defender out camping, and I do have an upgrade, so let's get to that. Here underneath the cabinets is the power system for the camper. I have two lithium batteries here. I have an inverter, and there's a DC to DC converter right here. But one thing that this vehicle does not have is a shore power plug. So I can't plug into a generator or I can't plug into a building. That is what I am going to add today. This is a Renogy lithium battery charger. And that will give me the ability to plug into a building or a generator or solar generator like this one. That way, if I am doing any camping that requires a lot of power, I could have some backup power. And this also allows me to plug into the wall if the vehicle is going to be stored for a long time to keep the batteries charged up. Unfortunately, this charger only comes with alligator clips, so I have to cut the ends off of these, put ring terminals on them, and then we can get them installed on the lithium batteries. I've cut the alligator clips off the wires. I put some ring terminals on. Now I need to shrink the heat shrink on it. We can take them over and install them. Installing this is pretty easy. I'll just add the terminals underneath this positive and this negative. Here's my positive from the charger. I can do the same for the ground over here. Always make sure that you get these started hand tight before you use any power tools on them. And that's it. We can plug it in and test it. I have my Renogy app pulled up right now so we can see the state of my battery. I'm at 93.98%, and right now the lights and anything else that's on right now is drawing about 7 watts. So let's plug in the charger. I'll just plug it into the Jackery for now. But I will be plugging that into the wall. We'll turn the Jackery on. We should see this number change as the charger starts charging. Okay, now we're charging at 262 watts. It looks like it is actually using 320 watts to make the 360 watts, so we do have some losses there. Having the ability to either extend the batteries on this camper or plug it in when it's not in use is going to be a game changer. My plan on this vehicle for right now is to get all of the equipment installed in here that I think I'm going to want before I change anything about it. That way I know what room I need to make to either hide or fit things into. And once I have all the equipment installed and ready, then we can take it out for a test, and then we can start reconfiguring the inside of this vehicle. If we keep moving on, you can see that I am loaded up for the Wrecker games right now. So as you are seeing this video, I will probably be on my way to the Matt's off-road games. I think I have everything loaded up and ready, so the next few videos you see from me are all going to be from the Matt's off-road games. Here's my Series 2 Elva Courier, and I have this on the lift because this, for you, would have popped up on Bring a Trailer yesterday. I am trying to sell this and make some room here in the shop, but I did find something interesting when I was underneath here, so I'd like to show it to you. At some point, some of the fiberglass back here, a newspaper was used in its repair. It's pretty neat. You can see on there that it says the Hartford Times, Friday, I think May 19th, 1969. So this was done a very long time ago. I think this car was wrecked sometime in the 70s and has been sitting around untouched ever since. So the date on the newspaper does make sense. So if you're interested in a car like this, you can find it on Bring a Trailer right now. I have a couple things for the Innocenti Spider. There's no button here in the steering wheel, so I have both a red and a black Nardi horn button. Let's put one of these in, see if it fits, and let me know below if you think this car should have the red button or the black button. Looks like this would have no problem going in the steering wheel, but there is this really weird lip right here on this adapter, so that will have to be machined down, but then I'll be able to put the button in there. But let me know below if I should put the red button or the black button in here, and I'll get this machined down and maybe I can show it to you next time. There's how the buttons look with the rest of the interior. And then we've got the right-hand drive Tiger project. You can see I found a new right-hand drive dashboard. I have all the gauges set in there. It looks fantastic. And I was able to get a new right-hand drive wire harness, so all the wiring is going to be new. So hopefully we can finally see this Tiger running pretty soon. Just about all the suspension and brakes are on the Austin Healey 106 now. Moss Motors is selling wheel and tire combinations now. So here's a brand new chrome wheel with a Firestone tire on it. Throwing that wheel up there temporarily, you can see how good that chrome is going to look with this color combination. Here's your monthly update on the Triumph GT6. The floor was just primed, so we're getting really close to putting some paint on this car. I think I showed the color in a previous video, but this is going to be a dark blue metallic. Should look really nice on this car. And last month I showed you the rusty BMW 2002. Well, at the moment, restoring this car has been sidetracked because I've started on this BMW 2002 TII. So this is the fuel injected model. There is some rust in the fenders and in the rockers and the floor of this car. These two cars are rusted opposite. The car from Hawaii rusted from the top down, and this car from the Midwest rusted from the bottom up. So if we look under the car, you can see a hole there. If we come up to the front, the floor pan needs replaced around the frame rail there. Luckily, a lot of the new sheet metal was included in the purchase of this car. Here's the Chevy C20. I don't know if the trim was going on in the last video, but you can see that is going to make a huge difference, really breaking up all of the blue paint we have here. I don't see any reason by this time next month that we won't be able to see all the trim here put on the side of this truck. And sitting here in the paint booth is one of my mark-offs. If you remember, this was a red car and the door jambs have been done, so we'll be able to take a look at the color. I've chosen to go with a shade of green, and this looks much darker on the camera and inside this booth than it will out in the sun. But this color is called Marcus Racing Green. Anyone familiar with the old Marcus Mantis race car, it should look just like the color of green that is on that race car and several other Marcus racing cars. And that's gonna be it for today. So if you wanna see more videos like this, comment below and click subscribe.